Okay, guys, we are live. It's Monday night, the later time of 8:30, where I have the legend in the house, Ivan at Ivan Jennings on Twitter. Jack is going to pop in from the Anfield Road TV. He'll be popping in 5 or 10 minutes as well. So, Ivan, how are
Good
you?
evening. Good evening. How are we doing?
Sure. Look, it could be worse. I have a glass of orange here. It's usually a beer, but a Monday night a beer. What are you drinking?
Water.
Water. We're gonna go easy. Things
Yeah,
are bad when I'm drinking water and you're drinking. Oh, sorry,
exactly.
orange,
You
orange
said
fucking
it,
juice.
Bucko. You said
You know
it.
what I mean? But listen, we're going to regurgitate the 0-0 on Saturday against in the derby. We'll talk about that. Thiago's back in training. That's given us something to, some sort of a boost. Obviously, Arthur Melo's been an extra few days with the boys training and stuff. He must be in contention for Wednesday. And of course, we're going to talk about the big game Wednesday night in the Stadio. What is it? Stadio Diego Armando Maradona
That's
Stadium.
it.
What a
What a
mouthful!
mouthful.
What a player! What a bleeding player he was!
What a player.
One of the best of all time, of course. But listen, we go back, step back 48 hours, 30 hours. The 0-0. What was your take from the 0-0?
One, we could have won it. That's the positive, right? But then all manner of questions about the shape, about Salah, about fitting Nunes in, about Milner, about some of the defending, the midfield. There's the results like this throw up all kinds of questions. Now the flip side is you win at 1-0 or you win at 2-0, and you don't ask those questions. So
Yeah,
I think it's good that we are asking the questions. Like we said on Friday, I think it was, the injuries are fucking killing us, and they really are.
yeah,
Back to basketball, football, and even when we try and slow it down, like we can't. We're stringing 2 or 3 passes between ourselves at the back, and then suddenly we're going forward, and you're just playing into teams like Everton's hands. There, they want it frantic, and when they're at home, that they're gonna look better than us. But we looked way off it. We looked way off it. But having said that, we could have won it.
yeah. Look, we had chances. We made chances. We hit the bar, I think, 3 times. We'd 1 or 2 other chances. Pickford played very well. I think Pickford got man of the match.
Did yeah.
Yeah, but I was talking to you a few minutes ago. I know control doesn't count if you win. If that Salah chance goes in deep in injury time, we're not even talking about anything. But in a way, I would have been talking about something, because even the Newcastle game where we left it late and got that goal, you're happy with a last minute winner. Who isn't happy with an injury time winner? But you have to regurgitate and look over the game as a whole, and you have to pick points, even in a win. You have to pick points at it and say, no, obviously the Bournemouth 9-0, jeez, you couldn't say fucking much about that. That was just bang, bang, bang. But Bournemouth are so bad. It's hard to, put a judgment down on that game. But even the 0, the only good thing to come out of that 0 was a clean sheet, because we hadn't had many clean sheets. So actually, the clean sheet was good. Everton gave us a few things to worry about. But again, the midfield I thought was wrong from the very beginning, Ivan. I did tweet it. It was very young.
I agree.
I mean, it was young. Carvalho was very young. Can't expect to go to Goodison and control the midfield game.
Yeah, like when we were talking on Friday, like I thought Carvalho deserved a start, but didn't think this was the right game for him. And he didn't get a touch in the first half, not a single touch.
Yeah.
Other than the kick that he got. I thought Elliott was okay. Again, I think he's probably been probably our best player so far. He's not afraid to get on the ball, but he's just doing nothing. And in fairness, we were creating some chances there on the right hand side with Salah, Trent, and Elliott. We looked most dangerous there without causing a whole lot of bother. But Carvalho was non-existent, and I think it was probably the wrong game to stick the two kids in fairness. But then you look at the bench and what are you going to do? You don't have Henderson, you don't have Thiago, you don't have Keita. Maybe Curtis might have been the right option. I don't know. Milner's days are behind him in those types of games.
Well, Milner would have done a job last 20. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
there's no doubt about that. But as you say, we've players coming back now. I mean, Arthur Melo, well, he must be in contention for Wednesday. It's certainly on the bench. And Thiago, I doubt Thiago will start. He's been out so long for a bit of an injury. Why would you risk him in a Champions League game midweek? A tough Champions League game. I'd say he'd be on the bench. I can't see him starting. I think he's on the bench. So but there's a good chance they might start against Wolves at Anfield on the Saturday. But I mean, look, it's just a lot. There's a lot on. There's a lot of things happening with Liverpool at the moment. It's not one thing. It's not change of formation, trying to fit in Núñez and trying to, play to his strengths. As you said earlier, Klopp or Salah and Diaz are out. They're just
too
playing.
wide.
They're hugging the touch.
Yeah.
Basically, they're hugging the touchline.
I can see what he's trying to do, right? Like it's very obvious what he's trying to do. Like if you're moving from having players who will naturally drop deep and allow the two players to come in to accommodating somebody who is going to be central. But I think it looks very black and white. It's like, lads, you need to stay wide. But and they're just interpreting that on as words. You just stay wide. They need to get more involved. Like Salah's stats from Saturday are shockingly bad in terms of his involvement and his touches. I
didn't even know he was on the pitch. That was one of the very few
Yeah.
games until that chance he had in the injury time. Obviously, that goes in. He's the hero, but he was non-existent for a large. It's very unusual to say something like that. Now he's had one or two dodgy games for Liverpool in the last few. He just hasn't had that impact. No, I don't know what it is.
And I think it looked very rigid. The two boys look very rigid. But then you look at Núñez. Certainly in the first half, he was dropping out to the left quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I think they need that. Whilst he's definitely an out-and-out number 9, I still think they need that fluidity across the front three where they can interchange and swap sides, or maybe Salah comes into the centre and maybe Núñez drops off or whatever. But I think they're looking at it too simply in terms of, we've now got a number 9, so you two boys must stay wide. It needs to be more fluid. It has to be more fluid than that.
We've got Jack from Anfield Road TV Jack in the house. Jackie boy, how are you?
Hope I'm amusing myself, mate. How are you doing, boys? Yeah, not too bad, mate. I was just finishing off my tea. But I was listening to you, spot on, boys. And what did we say before the game as well, chat? We wanted the performance, and what did we get? Not the performance.
No. So what do you think is wrong, Jack? I know there's probably a load of bleeding things are wrong. Injuries, we can talk about injuries, form. We can talk about confidence. We can talk about there's not as much press. We can talk about the Núñez issue. Where do you play him? Do we, are we trying to fit him into a formation and it'll take time? We're missing Thiago, who's back in training today, which is a big bonus, but we're definitely missing him in midfield. What do you think? What did you take from the 0-0? I think you did a watch along, didn't you, for the game?
Yeah, I still haven't done my post-match because I can't be bothered.
You were disappointed, to say the least.
Yeah, I would have probably been banned on YouTube. Surprised they haven't already been but because I would have ranted and raved anyway. But yeah, what I would have said would have been absolutely diddly squat, because the players, we know, these players know exactly what they need to do. And as he said, Mason, you and I haven't already alluded to in chat, there's a lot of but the main factor is probably injuries in it, Mason. In terms of a lot of teams who, before Jota and obviously Mata come back, we had like 8 or 9 senior players out injured. I think once we get everyone back, and once that does happen, I think we will see the performances obviously pick up. Obviously Núñez coming in as well, integrating into a system as well. But there's a lot, mate. Can't quite really put my finger on it. I'm just hoping, and surprisingly, the good thing to come off the back of this weekend is City obviously only being behind by City for 5 points. 5 points. Yeah, that's none. That's a loss. Well, 2 draws, right? 2 draws over the space of
two losses. Anyway. 2 losses.
Yeah,
2
6
losses.
Points. Yeah,
as
so
you say, we're still it's not all doom and gloom, I suppose. Here we are, 6 games in, Champions League midweek. It's not all doom and gloom, but I think we've got to get it right soon. You know what I mean? The longer it goes on, obviously, the more damaging it becomes in reality. No matter how good you are, we've got to start ticking. We've got to start scoring. Jota as well is another one's coming in. He'll take a little while to get going, but he was great. He actually did well when he came on.
He did.
Players are starting to come back, which is lovely. Really, really.
I just wonder what his preferred shape is going to be, because if you think about it, we haven't had our first choice from the start. Is he going to play Núñez up on his own and have the 3 behind him? Because I think that's probably the best thing to do in terms of, if you're playing a 4-3-3 and he's a 9, that's probably why the boys are staying so wide. But I think if he's up on his own and you've, say, Diaz, Jota and Salah in behind him, they can be a bit more fluid there.
Yeah.
But again, not having the players there, you don't know. So he's just kind of fitting players. He's just fitting people in based on who he has, and obviously trying to integrate Núñez into the team. But
look, it's we'll have a read here. What's Anfield Lark saying? Think the issue is down to personnel deterioration in levels due to age, and unfortunately also down to a decrease in drive, having won it all. Personnel, the main issue, and have been a bit complacent. I suppose that it's all the above and even more, to be fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I hope there's not a level of complacency coming in, because like if Man City can win the league four times out of 5 years, and if we're comfortable
5 out of 6,
once,
I think it's
5 out of 6, even whatever. If we're only happy with winning it once, that's not good. No, I don't think that's the case.
I don't think Klopp would allow that now,
no,
to be fair.
No.
You know.
And lads, you know, in July with those friendlies that we played against, I know United beat us, but then we played a couple of other friendlies. We looked electric. Like we were bouncing going into the season. So I don't know. I think it's a combination of 5 or 6 things.
Yeah, it's Rory Fitzgerald is in. Rory, how are you, my friend? Hopefully you're well. Let's see what Rory's saying. Even in Giants, I don't think the midfield solves the problem of what Ivan says about the width. That is becoming a new issue for the team. What is the plan for the front three and their positions? Well,
I think it's a front four. I think it's going to become a front four. And we were saying it on Friday night. I think it's going to be 4-2-3-1. The 3 boys with Núñez up on his own. He is a number 9.
So would you play Jota, Diaz and Salah or Elliott? Who are you playing?
No, Jota, Diaz and Salah. That would be your first choice. And then the boys to come in as subs. I think that's the easiest way to integrate him into the team immediately. And then maybe over time, you work on Núñez to become more of a player who can kind of move across the front three. Like look at how Haaland has integrated into the City team. It kills me, right? Right from the start of the season, we were saying they're going to have to work on this. He's going to have to change. He's just a decent Lukaku, and now he's gone from being a Lukaku and scoring those goals where you're bursting in, knocking players out of the way. He's scoring tap-ins, and I just that's happened literally.
That's
overnight.
what we said. Núñez.
That has happened.
Didn't I say that to you?
Yeah.
80% of Núñez's goals will be 6-yard tap-ins or headers.
Yeah.
You know, because he should be in that central area, that 6-yard box area, the Ian Rush, the Aldo, whatever you want to call it, that area. And he can do more. He can score spectacular goals.
Europe will suit him well.
What?
Yeah, Europe will 100% suit him so down to earth. I think a lot of us, people that went the game, or even if you watched, we all watched that second leg against Benfica last season. I come out of that ground and go, what a special player that fella is. And I was telling everyone, was like, need to keep an eye on this fella, and lo and behold, we get him. Well, 6 months, 8 months down the line, anyway, and we got him. And Europe has never been Liverpool's issue. Obviously, I know we've only won 1, but the competition itself, that's why Liverpool have been so successful of late in terms of getting to finals and semis and everything. It plays into our hands in terms of teams come at us, and it's more or less knockout, isn't it? And I think Núñez in the Champions League will probably be one of the highest goal scorers in the competition this year, along with Haaland. I think it will be a Liverpool City final. Depends on the draws again. It should have been really last year if they didn't bottle it against Real as well. So it's going to be interesting, boys. And even Carvalho in the 4-2-3-1 nods as well. That was his more favoured position for Fulham last season, wasn't it? In terms of that number 10 position in behind, obviously Mitrovic. So the more options Jürgen has when he's got all the players fully fit, I think we'll have a plethora really of different options, and that's only bodes well. And potentially, we spoke about it on Friday, lads, didn't we, on Dave's show as well, in terms of obviously Carvalho on that left-hand side. We've seen it in pre-season, but Diaz will eventually have to get a rest, because I think if you look at minutes played over the last 12 months, I think Diaz is 100% in top 3 of Liverpool's players for most minutes played anyway, especially from an international point of view. So, yeah, I think Thiago is the key, boys, and I think I've seen a lot of people mention him as well on all their shows. Thiago is the key, because we are Fabinho's a complete different player as well in himself, and I think he's been missing that player alongside him. I know it's difficult and talk about transfers to the cows come home, really, but we've got to deal with the cards we've dealt with, and I'm interested to see how Mello. Mello anyway plays. So he's a bit more of a defensive kind of player than he. So I'm hoping he hits the ground running. And tell you what, if he's a typical Jurgen Klopp or Liverpool sign in recent time, then 31 million is an absolute steal. If he becomes integral to Liverpool's plans.
Well, let's move on from the Everton game. That's gone. We're disappointed with it, but we move on. We go again. Players are coming back, as you say. Jota's back now. He looks like he's ready to rock. I have a feeling Jota might even start Wednesday. And we have Arthur Melo a few more days with the squad training. He must be in contention. Now, Thiago's back today. I think it's only his first full day. I can't see Thiago starting on Wednesday night. I think he'd be on the bench. So what do you think? I mean, Napoli's not going to be an easy game. It never is an easy game. These are a bit of a hoodoo team for us. First game is always good to get off to a start. Certainly don't lose the game. I mean, even a draw away from home isn't bad in Europe. But what do you think, Ivan? Wednesday night, tough ground.
It's
the Diego Armando.
Yeah, it's
Maradona.
tough. I don't think he'll start the midfield that he started on Saturday. I don't think Thiago will play either. So it's probably Milner to come in or Curtis Jones to come in beside Fabinho. And I think Jota probably get a start. I think he had about 30 minutes, did he? Something like that.
Yeah.
He did well. He did well. He looked lively, didn't he?
Yeah. And I think we'd be happy. I think Klopp would take a draw, to be honest, now, if you offered it.
Well, the way we're playing, you'd probably take a draw away from home in the Champions League against probably the team you would nearly think are going to be fighting for that top spot. I mean, Ajax are decent, but they lost a lot of players.
Yeah.
And Rangers got hammered the weekend by Celtic 4-0, so
Napoli, the team,
should be a 6-pointer fucking down. They're rubbish.
Napoli will be the tough one for us.
Yeah, so I think if we want to win the game. It'd be great to get a win there. It'd be a great confidence booster for the season to win there and go into the Wolves game on Saturday. But Jack, what do you think Wednesday night? It's a potential banana skin. It really is. We got to start right in that game.
Yeah, I was watching. It was a bit with making the lads anyway today, and they spoke. Obviously, Medmen in terms of 2010 was it last time Liverpool won in that stadium, which is mad. Roy Hodgson back in the day, so it was
back in the good old days. What?
Christ, imagine if half of the Twitter lot were around that. Well, yeah, Twitter accounts. Christ. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I did do a watch along last week for the Napoli game against Fiorentina. I wish I never, because it was probably one of the worst games of football I've seen in a while. And that's considering how bad we've been playing in recent weeks. They've lost Koulibaly. He's gone to Chelsea in terms of Zielinski, the Polish midfielder. He plays more in an attacking role now anyway. And obviously, Dries Mertens and Insigne's gone to the MLS. So the main core of their squad has gone, but there's still a good enough quality in there. And obviously, they sit top of the Serie A on 11 points. Roma could have went top last night, but he bottled that against Udinese about 3-4-0 anyway.
I think Atalanta are on top. Atalanta top of 12 points. Did they win?
Oh, did they win tonight? I don't know if they were playing tonight, but
I think they're top anyway. There's not much in it. It's only 5 games in, but they're up there. They're up there is what I mean. They're up there.
Yeah, but it's the attitude, boys, and we spoke about this, and a lot of people spoke. If you approach this game the way in which we have in recent weeks, then we'll make it difficult for ourselves anyway. But we know if we turn up to any ground in England, whether that be the Etihad, we play and we have all of our players fully fit, we can win any game of football. But sometimes football's not as simple as that. We make things harder for ourselves in reality over the last couple of weeks. And but yeah, I think even if we do make a couple of changes, I'd like to see Costa start down that left-hand side again, because I felt he was probably one of the most positive things to take away from the Everton result. And it gives rotations on key as well over the next 3 to... It's more or less not just for Liverpool, but for everyone. We all know scheduling issues. We don't want to be getting reoccurring injuries. For me, as he's mentioned, lads, I wouldn't be putting Jota in, but he's a good option to have on the bench. But I'm excited.
Who would you go with then, Jack? What 11 are you going with for Napoli?
I'd go with Ali in goal, Gomez, right back, Matip, Van Dijk, Kostas, just mainly to give Trent a rest, because there's going to be so many minutes, so many games to come.
He's in the foreign line at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think a lot of people were saying obviously taking him off, but I think it was mainly down to fit. Yeah, he didn't have the best game, but fitness wise as well, he's in the red zone. But I'd play Costas, play obviously Fabinho in the 6, Milner, Elliott, Diaz, Nunes. I think Nunes will go straight in. And I'd possibly play Salah. But it's the thing, boys, if we can go 2-3-0 up, then we can rotate. We can take 5 of those players off and whack
That'd
them
be
back
nice.
on. So
That'd be nice.
that's the ideal situation we want to be put in. But yeah, that'd be my armors.
Ivan, similar to Jack, or
Yeah. I don't know if he's going to make that many changes at the back. I think taking Trent off so early and then not starting him, I'd question that. So I think Trent probably starts. I think you're probably right with Tsimikas, Jack. He'll probably come in, and probably Matip as well. Besides Van Dijk, I think the midfield is the 3 you've picked there, and I think the same up front. It's Salah, Diaz, and Nunes. Salah needs to get over whatever is bothering him. Like he's too good a player to be so out of form. Like and having even in recent, like Saturday was a really poor example of it. Like, and even in other games he was involved. Now he may not have scored or he may have lost control, but the amount of touches he had, he just wasn't in the game, which is so unlike him. Like regardless of how good or bad he plays, he's always involved. So I'd love to see him just kind of crack on and just kick back into gear, you know. But
I think it's huge. Obviously, Arthur Melo must be having a shout there in the middle as well. Whether he plays him in a huge game like this with Fabinho, you know, and then maybe Elliott is possible. Doug is saying a record in Naples is shocking. Not even scored a goal there.
I don't think he starts Melo, Dave. Not tomorrow anyway. He could well.
Wednesday, is it Wednesday?
Sorry, Wednesday at least.
Wednesday night, yeah.
I don't think he starts him. He might.
No, he'd definitely be on the bench with Thiago.
Be on his bench, yeah. He could start at the weekend maybe. But yeah, like these are kind of cagey weeks for us now. You know, being so out of form, and we just have to keep tipping away. And in the league, once we don't fall any further behind City, I'm fine because we don't go from being a superb team, having the season that we had last year, to, you know,
a mediocre team, basically.
A mediocre team challenging for 6. That's not going to happen, right? And then just keep tipping away. Win your home games in the Champions League. If you can get anything away from home, it's a bonus. And it should be ourselves and Napoli going through from the group stage. But like Klopp will love, in one way, he'll love all these problems because they're things that he has to find solutions for, and that's what he's good at. That's what he's really, really good at. So
that's where you earn your money. That's where you earn your money.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll come around from this. You know, it's hard because it's been so great for the last few years.
I've no doubt we'll come out of this. Absolutely no doubt. We've been doing podcasts now. I've doing them with Jack for nearly 5 years, 4.5 years. We've had weird games. We went through even that January when the players, what was it, 6 games in a row we lost. You know, something like that. I was like, this is like a nightmare waking up because we were so we're just not used to it. You know,
even last season, Dave, I remember we were doing shows over Christmas and I wouldn't say it was doom and gloom, but it wasn't great. And then all of a sudden Diaz arrives and we're fucking flying. Like, do you know what I mean? So it just takes one little thing to
it takes a spark. I think Salah's important because if Salah plays well and is getting his goals and he's got that swagger about him, it just changes the whole front three. It really does. Plus, if you can get Thiago back in there, passing the bloody ball, controlling the midfield, controlling the tempo, basically. You know, going fast, going slow, slowing it down. That changes the whole defense as well. I mean, you know, the midfield is so important. We said this last week. The midfield for Liverpool, the way we play, is so important because it lets the two wingers go forward, Trent and Robertson. You know, and then they're
not having Thiago is huge because you could see even on at the weekend, Everton were pushing up on Tsimikas and Trent and nullifying their threat. And then when you don't have Thiago as the other option in the middle, they're just cutting off all those little avenues that you have in terms of getting it out, and then we start rushing, and that's when we're only putting together 2 or 3 passes, and then we're trying to put some worldly ball in behind, you know. So it's a few different things.
Yeah, it is. Jack, obviously the other game is Ajax and Rangers. Are Ajax at home, ready? Ajax.
Yeah, I'm
Ajax
going to that.
Rangers. That'll
Going
be
to that game.
interesting as well. Hmm?
Yeah, the Ajax game. I'm going to that game. Anfield. And what a game. Historically, two of the best sides in Europe in terms of playing football. Obviously, if you dive into it in the 60s and 70s, the Liverpool's philosophy of the total football as well, even like stems back to the pass back rule as well, the way in which Liverpool incorporated that and into the games. Now we transitioned in from obviously playing from out of the back in the 70s and everything. So yeah, it's mad. And obviously, yeah, you've lost a couple of their key players over the seasons, but it's the Ajax Academy. It's so historic with Cruyff and everything.
They're a selling club, though, aren't they? You get the gems and just sell them. Get another gem, sell them. Another gem.
Very successful, though, as well, at the same time.
I know, it works.
They always get a couple of years out of the players.
Yeah, they win like is it 10 million? They literally, that's why they're laughing to the bank boys, isn't it? They literally get 10 million off the Eredivisie for winning their league. And Man United have just given them 160 million for two of their players. They're laughing their heads off. And I think they literally got those two players for a combined fee of around 50 and 25 million euros as well. So happy days. And they're laughing. If any club in the Prem, like the Premier League is the Super League, isn't it, boys? But yeah,
it's a bit silly league, I think, with the money. Yeah. It's a bit silly, to be honest. But we're gonna, before we go as well, I just want your predictions. And we'll have a little word. We'll have a little word about VAR and that third kit that came out today. Don't know whether you've seen it, Ivan, but
love it.
The green. Is it teal green? I don't even know what color it is, but it's like a dark green with a red trim. I'm not madly impressed with it, to be fair. I know Jack wasn't happy about the kit coming out and the fact of like FSG, you can buy all the kit you want, but you can't buy a leading player. But we get Jack's.
We all need to pay off that Salah contract, everyone. So get that
get that jersey into you, baby. Have to trade him. Buy the trade him.
We'll go on buying him alone, playing in January. Yes,
Jack, scoreline for Wednesday night.
Wednesday, 4-0. Go ahead, I'll be positive. Yeah, 4-0. I think if we play our game, and I think Nunes, just watch. Nunes is going to fly in Europe this year. I think the way teams come onto us and the way he played for obviously Benfica last year, I think he's going to be phenomenal. I
hope you're right. Yeah. I fucking hope you're right. I think it's going to be a bleeding slog, 1-1 or something.
1-0 I'm going for.
To Liverpool? I take any type of fucking win there. As Doug said, we never even scored there before. Never mind fucking got a draw or win. It's a tough ground. We've had great sides going there, you know, and it's a tough, like the year we won the Champions League 2019, remember? That Alisson save against at Anfield when it was 1-0.
Last kick of the game.
Yeah. More or less last. That goes in. There's a different history to be written. I know goals change games and stuff, but I expect a tough slog. I'm going to go 1-1, as Eamon Kelly just put up there. I take a draw because it's such a hard place to go. Obviously, I want to win, but it's going to be tough. And the other one, I think Ajax will beat Rangers. Probably 2-0, something like that. Before we go, the VAR over the weekend. I don't know whether you've seen the Coutinho. Can anybody tell me why that Coutinho goal was disallowed against City?
I think the referee. I was speaking to Luke from the 1890 Reds podcast. He's a referee, referees, and supposedly he said from the laws, the referee apparently supposedly blew before the ball.
The keeper didn't react. Is that it?
Yeah, so supposedly the whistle supposedly went, but even still, because I think the liner had this flag up. But I was more complex as everyone else because I've got a load of Geordie mates, and they are absolutely fuming at the minute in terms of Newcastle off the back of our game.
What was going on?
Like the Newcastle, was it Willock got pushed from the opposition player into the opposition player? So, like, I wish these referees had actually played the game. It's almost like they just studied it off YouTube or something, and then stepped in. And like the high pressure environments. There needs to be an investigation. They're a private company as well. The Premier League, the brand that it is, should be getting better qualified referees out there. Even if you have to import your referees from other leagues, just go out and buy the best referees around Europe.
What about this thing now for Wednesday night in the Champions League? It's going to be semi-automated VAR. Do you hear about that?
What's that one? I've missed that. I have to read that.
Champions League, yeah. the Champions League and the World Cup. So obviously the Champions League is this week, but the World Cup are using it. It's going to be semi-automated, so it's going to be like computerized. And then I think the human will obviously make the final decision.
Oh, this is going to be an absolute mess, isn't it?
But wait till you see this Wednesday.
Yeah, I think like it's prime for abuse, and then when you throw in, the referees, local
Manchester.
referees, exactly.
From
No, but
Manchester.
honestly, so
I know.
people are suspicious about it in the first place, and then you throw in a local referee, you're going, what the fuck, lads? Like for me, the Rashford goal against us, I'm still scratching my head how that was onside. Do you know what I mean? Because it looked offside to me, and then you go, where's the referee from? Ah, gotcha. Do you know?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the
fuck
ref though,
off.
really. VAR. Where's it's VAR?
No,
looking
but
at the lines.
it's in a lot of these decisions, like it's fine for VAR to call something. The referee then gets involved and he gives an opinion, and he either goes with it or overrules it. So at any point, the referee can come in and say, "I disagree" or "I don't agree." Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Don't know what.
They've all got egos, would you say, Ivan?
Totally they do. Of course they do.
And especially obviously, say when if you go into work or something, like you'd always get the people that you work with, someone that are absolute not the nicest people anyway. But
like in fairness, your man on Saturday, Halsey, was it that refereed our game, or was it Halsey? He let the game go, and it was good and physical, and it was.
I've seen dirtier derbies though. To be fair, I mean, it wasn't that for a derby. It wasn't that bad.
But like, can you see some of them? Like a sign of a good referee is that you don't know he's there. He just lets the play go on. But I think you're dead right, Jack. It's all fucking egos with these guys. Do you know what I mean? You give themselves high fives and all before the game. They want to be the star, you know.
Like the last thing you want to be talking about is the referee. No. You know, really. I wouldn't be talking about
I'd much rather go back to when we all were in the pool boy. You'd literally be fuming after results. Fair enough. That's part and parcel of football. But when even that Chelsea one this week. How that is a foul, whatever Graham Souness is chatting bare wham on that horrible radio station, I won't even mention it. Is
ridiculous.
And that's coming. It says a lot, but it's all about clickbait with them. So he's probably been told by his producer, say this and get your clicks, which it will, and it has, and we're talking about it now. But that's coming from Graham Souness, one of the hardest men in football in his time period. Yeah, like he'd be putting two people into
hospitalizing people.
Yeah, but the game has gone soft in certain areas, and it's a consistency, boys. Though I don't know if you was watching chat. Did you watch that? Was it the Man United Arsenal game? Like for a good part of like the first half, there was no Man United player getting a card. It took about 60 minutes into the game or whatever, but at the first time, an Arsenal player puts a foul and he gets a straight yellow.
Yeah, like McTominay could have been sent off 3 times yesterday.
Yeah,
for the number of fouls that he made, unbelievable.
They should bring a new card out for McTominay, blue card or something. But look, actually, that was a good game yesterday. I mean, Arsenal played very well in that game. They just couldn't fucking take their chances, and they were unlucky with the Martinelli. There's another one that wasn't a foul.
I think if that goal had stood, I think they would have gone on and won it.
It would have been a different game, wouldn't it? Goals change games. Simple as.
Fourth official was celebrating with Ten Hag anyway. Same smile.
Crazy. Absolutely.
I did see that. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah. But look, it's not all doom and gloom at Liverpool just yet. It's too early to be majorly doom and gloom at this stage. Players are coming back slowly but surely. I think that will make an absolutely huge difference to football. The way we play, the midfield is the issue at the moment. Confidence, early goals. If we can get an early goal, obviously Wednesday would be great. I think Salah get a goal, get back in. Núñez maybe get a goal. It's all about scoring goals for them, isn't it? It's about clean sheets for Alisson in the defence. It's about scoring goals for the forward line. And I just think it'll all come and click back in, hopefully. But it's got to happen soon, Ivan. I mean, we can't let it go. We can't get a bad result now, let's say, Wednesday night. And then we're going into that tricky Wolves game. You're expected to win and all this type of thing. We got to get a result. I think Wednesday's important to get a result as well. Just to take us away from the Premier League, take our mind off the Premier League and say, right, Champions League, different competition. Let's start with a win. We won all 6 games last year, remember? In the group of death, as they called it, with AC Milan. So what do you think? We just get a result.
Get a result.
Get a performance as well. Try get both, and go from there. But I think that's why Wednesday, I think, is huge, because it might take the minds off. You know the way sometimes you change your competition.
Yeah.
Premier League, we'll worry about that Saturday,
Mix it
but
up a bit,
tonight's Champions League.
Yeah.
Jackie boy, that's what I'm saying. So.
Yeah, 100%, as we've said, boys, and chat as well. The Champions League, it favours us. Teams come onto us, and you will see a literally different team, hopefully on Wednesday and throughout this competition, as we always do. Ideally, the club, I think, get like 1.5 to 2 million for every win. So financially, it's important that we do win these games. I know us fans go, "Oh,
won't have to sell as many jerseys, Jack."
Yeah, okay, especially after. Yeah. How long have you got tonight, boys? But yeah, I'm open. Yeah, we got this, boys. It wouldn't surprise me if we do win the Champions League this year, as long as we don't run into City. I think that'd be the real issue, and obviously Real Madrid. But yeah, it's going to be intriguing to see how City will be winning 10-0. I don't even know who they got in their bloody group, but the way Ireland has.
They have a handy group, Sporting Lisbon and people like that. Not too bad, you know.
Well, yeah. Now I'm excited. As you said, boys, if we can get a bit of performance, and it's all about consistency in it in terms of sports teams as well.
Confidence. I think it's confidence. I really do think it's confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
Ivan, I mean, you come out to that pitch after having a great win. There's no. Okay, you could say that didn't work against Bournemouth. I think that Bournemouth game wasn't. I mean, 9-0 is lovely.
You take nothing from those games. You take nothing from those games.
No, I don't. I think it was too easy. The game was over after 5 minutes.
What they need is a tough game tomorrow night. Maybe scrappy, and get a late winner. Something to just flick it. Because that's all it's going to take. These lads haven't gone from an amazing team into a poor team overnight. They just haven't.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we leave it there. What are we, 36, 37 minutes in? Just get a good result. I think it's important to get a good result Wednesday night in Napoli. It won't be easy. Any fans going over, be careful over there, because, that place can be a little bit rough, as they say. Just be careful in around stadium and stuff
Rob's
like that.
comment there. Rob's comments. You must be watching a different Liverpool team. It's the thing, though, Rob, tactically, when you analyse the teams in Europe, apart from Atletico Madrid,
you're right, Jack.
That's the only reason, Rob. We've been to 3 of the last 5 Champions League finals. There's a reason for that. Tactically, teams do come on us 100%, and you don't play like park the bus teams, apart from unless you're playing an Atletico Madrid or a certain other team. But the teams in our group, Ajax, are very attacking side, not going to sit behind the ball, and they tend to have a lot of possession as well. So. Napoli I think this week they had 60% possession, so they're the team that do like to control games as well. But for me, yeah, I'm excited, and it wouldn't surprise me if Bayern do win the Champions League this year, if they got a good draw, mainly down to Sadio Mane. We've seen how good he is in Europe, and as long as we avoid him, it'll be sound.
Jeez, Jack. Now we have to avoid Real Madrid, Sadio Mane, and Man City. They could get out on that side of the draw anyway.
Yeah.
Look, we just have to do what we have to do. Liverpool's Liverpool. Nobody wants to play Liverpool in Europe. We've got the name, we've got the aura for a reason. Win the 6 times, as you say. The last 5 is three finals in the last 5. Guys, it's been beautiful. Jack, are you going to watch along for the game Wednesday night?
Yeah, that I will be. Obviously the Ajax one. It's the week after the Ajax game as well. So games going thick and fast.
It's got to be congestion, pure congestion.
Yes. But I hope I'm not wishing upon injuries on other teams, but it will happen for teams. They will get injuries. Not just going to be Liverpool in this period now. I tell you what, if City, I know their squad depth's massive, but if they got an injury to Haaland and De Bruyne, they'd obviously miss him anyway. But yeah, I'm excited. Long may
so Jack, let's get Jackie to 5K. He must be close to 5K now, Jack.
Yeah, I think so. I think more than 4.93 or something. But yeah, I'll be doing a pre-match build up tomorrow if you're around, boys. Anyway, because my head fell off listening to all my Everton mates go on. You would have thought they'd won the Champions League.
Fuck them, fucking idiots.
Yeah,
I know. And Cody with the goal. Being a Liverpool fan, I know it's a tough one, but it is a tough one. I was disallowed. Oh, for fuck's sake. He was just off, by the way. Ivan, it's been brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on. We'll do something maybe Friday or something like that for the Wolves
Perfect.
game, and a regurgitation of hopefully a Liverpool win on Wednesday night. Champions League first game, of course. Napoli Liverpool. Stay safe. Talk soon, guys. In the chat, hit the like, hit the share. Cheers, guys. You'll never walk alone.